This is a California legislative explainer on the suspense file process. The two fiscal committees in the California state legislature, which we call the Appropriations committees, have a unique procedure that they each call the suspense file. Basically, any bill which has been keyed fiscal by the Office of Legislative Counsel is re-referred to the fiscal committee in each house, again called the Appropriations Committee. And unless that bill is placed on consent or the amount of the bill's fiscal impact is below a certain threshold established by the respective committees, then those bills go to the suspense file. So, under the rules of both the Assembly and Senate, the committees on appropriation may maintain a suspense file to which bills may be referred by a vote of a majority of the members of the committee that are present and voting, pending further consideration by the committee at a later specified date. A bill may be taken off the suspense file and heard upon 2 days' notice, published in the Assembly or Senate Daily File by a vote of a majority of the members of the committee who are present and voting. The suspense file that's used by the Appropriations Committees in the Senate and Assembly is basically done as a means of managing their bill loads, easily numbering in the hundreds. While the intent behind the suspense file makes sense in concept, which is to consider all of the fiscal related bills at a single time, the practical implication of determining which bills stay or leave the suspense file is often shrouded in mystery. What are the factors? There are many factors that go into determining when a bill should be held on the suspense file or taken off. The stated intent of the suspense file, again, is to consider all the bills with a fiscal impact, basically all at the same time. And then they have a vote on all of those fiscal bills once all of them have been heard and are before the committee members on a single day for a vote. In this way, the fiscal committee can make a decision on all the bills that have a fiscal impact at one time, rather than each week that they meet during the course of the legislative session. Now, in the Assembly Appropriations Committee, the bills referred to the suspense file are those with a fiscal impact of $150,000 or more from any fund source in any fiscal year, and any bill in which the primary purpose is to create a task force, commission, work group, a report, or a study. All of these categories meet the criteria for referral to the committee suspense file. In the Senate Appropriations Committee, the bills referred to the suspense file are those that would have a fiscal impact in any single fiscal year from the general fund, including GO bonds, or from private funds of $50,000 or more. Also referred to the suspense file are any pilot project bills if the statewide implementation of the project or program would result in a fiscal impact of $50,000 or more in a fiscal year. In addition, all bills are sent to the suspense file that would have a fiscal impact in any single fiscal year of $150,000 or more from any special account or fund. One exception to the rule, that is, the bill is not sent to the suspense file, is for a deficiency bill or a supplemental appropriations bill authored by the chair of the Senate or Assembly Budget Committee, as well as the claims or judgments and settlement bills authored by the chair of the Senate or Assembly Appropriations Committee. For purposes of the rules applicable to the two to the two fiscal committees, the fiscal impact is generally defined to include cost increases, cost pressures, revenue decreases, increases in appropriations subject to the limitation, and reductions in the state's appropriations limit, or the SAL, the SAL. In both the Assembly and Senate Appropriations Committees, the bill authors do not have to testify or present their bills at the suspense file hearing. Instead, the committee members simply vote on the measures before them without any additional testimony being taken. In fact, in most instances, bills have been placed on the suspense file, don't have any testimony presented on them in support or in opposition. Although both the Assembly and Senate Appropriations Committees do accept testimony on bills that are sent to the suspense file, regardless of whether the author presents his or her bill. The Assembly Approach Committee dispenses with all bills at the suspense file hearing. These bills are passed as amended, or held. The bills held on the suspense file are considered dead unless in the first year they are made 2-year bills and reconsidered the following January. In the Senate Appropriations Committee, they only announce bills to which there will be a vote to either pass or do pass as amended. So no official action is taken on bills that are held on the suspense file. Note again that during the first year of the 2-year session, both appropriations committees utilize a fourth category of action beyond the pass, do pass, or hold. They distinguish between bills that are held on suspense and therefore they're dead for the year, and those bills that are held on suspense as 2-year bills, meaning that they can be considered again the following January prior to the House of Origin deadline, or January 31st of the second year of the 2-year session.